Man, look a little nippy out there, buddy.
It's beautiful outside. What are you talking about?
God, I love this weather. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, man. That's why we live in Florida, Playboy.
I know, man. I know. Check out Ian Beckles' all social media platforms. We'll talk some in the trenches stuff here in a bit. We'll start with Indiana. I mean, it was a tough putt going against that Ohio State Buckeyes team. They had to play almost a near perfect game, but they just couldn't do that. I still think they're going to make the playoff, Ian, but it's tough. Some really good wins this year, but it was a tough loss to Ohio State there.
Listen, Indiana being 10-1 is a story in itself. But, watching that game, I just saw a young team that maybe the stage was a little bit too much for them. Ohio State is clearly a better team. But if you say to me that your only loss is in Ohio State, I'm not sure there's a better loss in the country. So a lot of other teams lost. I just don't want to hear somebody talking about our three loss SEC teams, because Indiana beat everybody in front of them. They beat Nebraska worse than Ohio State did. So to that point, Indiana did what they were supposed to do. They just didn't show up on Saturday, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy how we see what the rankings are right now. We see in the AP rankings that Alabama is still 13th. They're 8-3. They've lost 3 games and they're still 13th ranked. And they go, oh, well, they beat this team, they beat that team. You lost to a 5-5 Oklahoma team.
Right.
And I understand how strong the SEC is, but how come it's their wins weigh that much more than their losses? I don't get that. There's other teams out there. They look, I mean, I heard somebody say like, oh, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. They shouldn't be in there. Like, it was a close game. They lost on a field goal. I know Northern Illinois isn't good, but Alabama got smoked. They scored 3 points against a team that was 5-5, and they're still in the top 15. Like, there's definitely SEC bias out there. They are the strongest conference. I don't disagree with that, but their losses aren't as weighed as heavily as other teams, 100%.
Well, listen, Jay, I'm a Big Ten guy, okay? And for many years, I've just had to say the SEC is king. I'm not sure anymore. I'm not, because Michigan won last year. And if you talk about the top of the Big Ten right now with Ohio State and Penn State and Oregon, I would put those 3 teams against anybody's conference team. So when you say that the SEC is king, it has been king, but I'm not sure it is right now. And, Luke getting mollywopped by Oklahoma, you got to be out. Like, I don't care what your name is. You got to go. You can't have 3 losses and still be up there. That's almost saying, when you start the season, Alabama, there's nothing you can do to screw yourself out of being in the top 12. So I just don't think that's fair to everybody else. I just think we're giving out those teams too much credit.
Yeah, it's funny you say that Indiana has the best loss. Like, Ohio State's only loss is to Oregon. So I mean, you look at how strong the Big 12 is, the Big 10, excuse me, with all those good teams. I mean, those 4 teams right there: Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. And then Michigan put up a 50 burger yesterday or Saturday. So you just never know, man. Some good football out there. We also saw some good football from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over at the Dignitary Tea and Kava House there on Sunday with the crew. More of how good the Bucs look or how bad the Giants look in that game, Ian?
I think it's a little of both. The Buccaneers probably looked as rounded of a team as I've seen all year.
They look well balanced. They look balanced in that game, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, the Giants weren't going to score a lot of points in that game, and it just seemed like offensively they were able to do whatever the hell they want to, and they haven't done that in a while. The Giants are, as you know, Jay, and my business partner next to me, Tom Ponzo, knows.
Ponzo!
The Giants are going through some stuff, man. Like, when you got a $40 million quarterback that gets benched in the middle of the season, and some of the players are saying that it's the wrong move, and then he gets cut, and then you take your second string and make him third string, and that's a lot to look at the players in the face and say, let's go out and fight after that. And I think the Giants fought just like a team that didn't have anything to fight for. Like, if your organization stops fighting, sometimes the players stop fighting. And I just didn't see a Giants team. Lawrence, did you hear his name yesterday?
Just that one time when we said, hey, there's Dexter Lawrence. That was it.
He didn't do a thing all game long. So I don't know I don't like to say people lay down, but the Giants maybe their bags are packed already.
Yeah, and it's ugly. I mean, you got Tommy Cutlets out there. They might as well put Tom Ponzo in there to
Right?
start slinging the rock. Put Tom Ponzo under center.
Right.
I think they would have a better chance. You hear Ponzo
Yeah,
in the
man.
background. But looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they needed that win, right, to kind of set things on the right path here in the second half of the season. And I just look at the running. We'll start with the running back situation. Bucky Irving getting the majority of the looks over guys like Rachaad White and Sean Tucker. They did find time for those guys, but man, Bucky Irving, I know you made a comment yesterday about like him not being necessarily the best running back, but what is it about his game then, if he's not quote unquote a traditional running back, that makes him so effective in this Liam Cohen offense?
Well, I think as spectators and Buck fans, we like to evaluate people on obviously the results, and it makes sense. These coaches watch these guys every day in practice. So for Rashad to be the starting running back still tells me that Bucky doesn't do some things well. Okay, so whether it's you could say, oh, we'll just put him in when we're not passing. It doesn't work like that. Okay, then other teams sniff that out and they're gonna game plan accordingly. Bucky, I think, is the most dynamic runner we have. I don't know if he's the best runner, okay? If you say which runner do you want in the open field, it's Bucky, period.
Mhm.
Behind the line of scrimmage, which runner do you want? I might want taking Rashad because I saw Bucky miss a couple holes yesterday, and I like the kid, but I like to concede to the coaches when it comes to roles for players because they know these guys. It's easy to say that guy should be here, should be there. Don't you think the coaches have thought about that? If the radio has been saying about it every day, don't you think the coaches have thought about putting Bucky as a starting running back? They want to win as much as we do, and probably 10,000 times more. So once again, they know what they're doing, and there's a reason why Rashad's still starting, and I think that he is the more rounded back, although he's not a real flashy runner. He's almost, he's a middle of the road runner.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of ironic too that he does the things usually that a third down back would be good at. He's probably a better pass protector. He's better at catching the ball out of the backfield. Not that Bucky's not, but Rashad, like he does those two things well, like almost like what a specialized or a specialty running back does. You mentioned not hearing the name Dexter Lawrence. We also didn't really hear the name Justin School yesterday, and that bodes well when you don't have Tristan Wirfs in there, and we all know how you feel about a guy like Tristan Wirfs who really hit the ground running in his NFL career. But what did you think of the offensive line yesterday? Because I know they didn't mention Dexter Lawrence's name, but you get Kayvon Thibodeau back from injury. You have Brian Burns in there. This is one of the better pass rushes in the league, and they were equalized in a big way by that Bucs O-line.
Yeah, and listen, you have to give a team credit. You got to give the Bucs O-line credit because they dominated that game, run game, pass game, period. And I almost wish that Liam Cohen would have came out and run the ball more because I think that would have been a signature game if he would have gave, each, had 40 totes or something. I just don't know the Giants could have stopped them.
Right.
I don't remember a single run where a running back did anything all that glorious. But there was just big old holes, and sometimes the running back is going 15 yards before he gets touched. That's on the offensive line. And, this team, this Buccaneer team, it's weird because the record's not great, but you can't tell me this is not a good football team.
Right.
Because I mean, they beat the Lions, you beat the Eagles, you almost should have beat San Francisco and Kansas City. I hate to say should have because you lost,
Right.
but this is a team that can compete with anybody, and we're missing some serious pieces. So it was 2 weeks ago. I heard everybody wanting to fire Todd Bowles, and I just think it's an ignorant narrative that anytime a coach falters at all, regardless of injuries or situations, they want to fire them instantly. I hear people, we got to fire Mike Tomlin. Are you effing kidding me? What the hell? How long do you think it would take for Mike Tomlin to get a job? Everybody would give away their coach for Mike Tomlin. So I just want to give some love to Todd Bowles. I think he's doing a pretty darn good job.
Yeah, what do you say to people like that are just they're so quick to get rid of Bowles and then no credit whatsoever yesterday to, hey, the team came out of the bye, because we've seen at times this team doesn't come out of the bye great. They come out of the bye, they don't get too high, they don't get too low, even with some of the guys still out. I mean, they're still able to go out there and play. Like Todd Bowles, what does it say about him being respected? Like, what does that mean from you as an ex-player? Because I think people forget about that. They look at like the decisions when to go for it on fourth down and things like that, when to throw challenge flags. But when you respect a coach, when there's that much love for a guy like that, Like, what does that mean for you as a player? I mean, you're already self-motivated, but what does that entail as far as like not giving up or staying with it when you're on a 3, 4, 5 game losing streak?
Well, it's funny. Tom and I just had this conversation. And we're talking about playing for coaches. Nobody plays for the coach, okay? Everybody plays for yourself, and you play for your self-pride. Now, when the locker room gets lost, which does happen, people start acting funny, okay? That's a fact. To me, I just think it's a testament to Todd Bowles having the right guys in the locker room. I really do, because those guys are always fighting. I never see the Buccaneers giving up, and I think Baker Mayfield has a lot to do with it. I thought Tom Brady had a lot to do with it. Levante David, Vita Vea, Tristan Wirfs, you keep on going. But the Buccaneers have always had those leadership type players in the locker room to keep things together, whether it's a JPP, whoever the hell it's been throughout the years. But you have to have the right players. Because, listen, I coached at Chamberlain High School this year, and I thought Chad and myself and the other coaches did a pretty darn good job. But at the end of it, you can't make that chicken salad. You know what I'm saying? You have to have players that are motivated and that give a crap. And the fact that these guys go out there every week and they compete makes me think that he has the right players.
What'd you think of Mike Evans yesterday?
What do I think of Mike Evans every time he plays? I mean, I'm so tired of saying that Mike Evans can't be good again this year. I've been saying it the last 7 years, I think. Mike Evans is always hurt. Mike Evans is always coming back. We're better with Mike Evans. I don't know what else you want to say. Without Mike Evans, we win yesterday because the Giants are just abysmal, but we don't get as many big plays without Mike Evans. With Mike Evans in the lineup, this offense just moves better because now people are scared of somebody. Kate Otten, is getting his fees. He didn't get that much yesterday, but he's not scaring nobody. Mike Evans is still a scary individual, even in his age.
Before I let you go, who's been your favorite team to watch this year? Plays Ian Beckles football, runs the football, plays good defense, and could possibly make a long jaunt of it into the postseason.
It's not close for me. It's been the Lions the last 2-3 years. When I watch them play, I just get it. Like the Lions, first down, 1 yard, run the ball for 1 yard. Second down, run the ball for 5 yards. They just are 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 all the time. They're not scared to run the ball 3-4 times in a row. That goes so darn far, and I think Goff has come a long way. And I just like to feel. I like to feel they play hard. They don't ease up when they're up 20 points. They're still foot on the throttle. I like the Lions. It's hard to win a Super Bowl, my friend, because if you play against a Mahomes or something like that, and you give him 8 seconds, you never know. It might be too much time.
That's right, man. All right, what do you got going on this week? Let everybody know about the digs and the in the trenches and all that jazz.
Well, you got all my good stuff before I actually did my In the Trenches podcast. So, but I like everybody to still tune in the trenches. I've been doing it for, I want to say 10, 12 years now. It's been a while. And then after that, I'm hanging out at the Dignitary Cafe. We're getting things back in order. And go out there and support your small businesses. A lot of small businesses are still hurting out there. And we're on the corner of West Shore and Gandy, 4817 South West Shore Boulevard. Jay hangs out here to watch the games. It's just it's a good look. It's a good feel.
It's a nice chill vibe with Ian, Tom, and the fellas.
Sure.
Yeah, In the Trenches on all social media. Follow Ian on Instagram as well. He loves putting it on there. Some really, really good stuff, and we got some good things in store for you the rest of this year and in 2025. Beck, I love you. I appreciate you. Give Pons my best. And did Ponzi tell me? Ian Beckles Show on YouTube. Thank you, Ponzo. Look at that. Doing it all.
Right next to me doing that work.
I appreciate it. All right, man. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.
One love, brother.
All right.